Well, good morning. This is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant morning. And for a change, we are going to flip over to some local issues. Now, January, the end of January, is budget time for municipalities in Ontario. And my friend Peter Waygang was going to go down and make a presentation. Unfortunately, the polar vortex decided otherwise, and a storm swept across southern Ontario, and he was unable to make it down there. However, local government is witnessing the death of democracy, and it is a death by 1,000 cuts of amendments to bylaws and additions to staff, and this stealth takeover of the whole of the municipalities of Ontario has been absolutely staggering. Peter has some very blunt comments and even blunter suggestions in his speech, and it is time that it reached a wider audience, because you may find that although this is City of Quarter Lakes, the same thing is happening in every municipality across Canada. Okay, here we go.
Hello everyone, I am Peter Waygang, and I have been sending stuff to the City of Quarter Lakes for many years as a member of the Citizens for Direct Democracy. As Steve has told you, unfortunately I was not able to make this presentation on the appropriate date, but I decided it was worth sharing with you, the taxpayers. So the format of the document we are discussing has not changed for at least 5 years. It just grows bigger. It is now 247 pages of bafflegab. Yes, bafflegab. The language used by bureaucrats to confuse people and silence criticism. The document contains 46 organizational charts and 15 photos. They are not budget items, so let's chuck them out. The document is a mountain of administrivia that is incomprehensible to the public and to council. We have the very names of the roads that were paved. We do not have the names and salaries of our executives. Why is that? Those extravagant salaries are real budget items. They are of great interest to taxpayers who have lost their jobs but still pay for the executives. During the pandemics, these executives still got their full salary and annual increases. Do not expect a single drop of sympathy from our bureaucrats, and certainly not a dime of help. There is no clear statement in the document of the number of new employees. I counted 14. Some years ago, Andy Lethem, when he was mayor, said that the staff was right-sized. That is not the case. It continues to grow. Businesses are fighting to survive. They are sacking workers by the thousands. The city is adding workers. The taxpayers now support more than 3 times the number of employees they did before amalgamation. The staff business plan as such has not changed in 20 years. It is simple. Hire more staff. Council must stop that. The new plan must be to decrease the number of staff by a lot, and soon. The writing in the report is appalling. I will try to read you the stuff on page 103 about development engineering. Responsible for ensuring responsible development with infrastructure that conforms to city standards but does not negatively impact surrounding properties, provide engineering, etc., etc. The entire sentence has 83 words. A good sentence has less than 12. The Gunning Fox score which measures readability, is 51. You need 51 years of formal education in order to understand this waffle. The lexical density is 75. That means that the sentence is unintelligible. No writing like this should appear in an official publication of the city. The author should be sacked along with the person who approved it. This is how staff tries to dumb down the councillors. It overwhelms councillors with highfalutin stuff designed to overawe them. It is time for council to haul in the senior staff and give them a good dressing down. The horse and pony show has to stop. My second concern is the tax rate. On January the 27th, Ron Taylor said, "We are coming in at a proposed 3% increase, meeting council's target." That is the number put out to the media. But where is the calculation to support that number? The data on page 27, which you can see, shows that we collectively paid 5% more. So what is going on here? Council takes money out of our pockets. We don't care what they call it, perhaps a property tax or a special levy or just plain old highway robbery. We only care about the total amount, and that is 5%. My third concern is the amount of contracted work. We have the largest, most highly paid and most highly qualified staff in the history of the municipality. Yet we have no tangible measure of their productivity. We don't know if they're doing something or nothing. Each year we spend $1.5 million to train them. That is preposterous. That money would pay the university fees of 200 struggling young students. The city is run by regular staff and contracted staff. We hire the regular staff to do a specific job. Then they hire someone to actually do it. The total cost is about 124 million, 80 million for the regular staff and 44 million for the contracted staff. And that can be found on pages 15 and 16. That represents about 1,400 people with an average salary of $90,000. That is an astonishing number. Before amalgamation, the municipalities had a total staff of just over 400 people, and most of them were high school graduates. Jennifer Carr, the president of PIPSC, the Professional Institute of the Public Services of Canada, said, "There's been years of basically unchecked spending by government departments on contracting out, and it's created a shadow public service of consultants." And that is where we are today in Kawartha Lakes. Council must cut out the contracted work. My last point in my 5 minutes time slot for democracy deals with subterfuge, the art of concealment. Please turn to page 20. Last year, there were 28 people in the engineering department, and they cost about 1.8 million. Now, they don't actually do engineering. That is done by the engineering consultant firms, which are hired by the engineering department. Now, taxpayers love garbage collectors, snowplow operators, and pothole fillers. They do not like paper pushing administrators. So, half of the administrators suddenly disappears. You can see the numbers drop suddenly from just under 800,000 to just over 1 million. They are separated into 2 chunks. Now that looks a lot better, but the cost has increased by about $70,000, and that pays for the new supervisor. And that is what we call subterfuge or concealment. The golden rule for a successful business is this: never hire anyone unless they do stuff that has a value that is greater than their wages. On page 106, we see that a supervisor of development engineering is needed. Did the CAO explain why this was a good financial decision? In 2021, there were 26 people in the engineering department. That number increased by 1 person each year. That is how bureaucracy grows. Slowly, slowly, like a cancer that nobody notices. Then suddenly it is too late. Now is the time for radical surgery. I would like to deal with the debt that rests on the shoulders of each taxpayer and their grandchildren. It was put there by decisions made by staff. I would like to deal with the major projects which staff have foisted upon us. Most are over budget and behind schedule, yet nobody is held to account. I would like to deal with the money that is given to other groups. Charity should be a personal choice, not a corporate action. So, what to do now? First, put this staff document through the paper shredder. Second, construct a budget format that gives council and the taxpayer the real information they need. Third, tell the staff they must have 1 week to present a budget in the new format, and the document must be no more than 5 pages. At some future time, the council must create its own fiscal policy and its own implementation procedures. I will be happy to assist in those activities. There will be no consultants fee. Thank you.
If you like that video, please like, comment, subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve and Peter Waygang signing off, wishing you a very pleasant morning, and we'll talk very, very shortly. See you now. Bye.